Huge chaos as Mercedes threaten FIA after another shocking new rule. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Mercedes news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Mercedes won't give up on F1 2025 to get a head start for F1's new rules. Toto Wolff has confirmed Mercedes won't give up on their hopes in 2025 to get a head start on the new F1 rules in 2026. Mercedes have endured an up and down campaign this year. Ahead of the summer break, they were the in-form team, winning 3 of the 4 races ahead of the shutdown. However, since Zandvoort, Mercedes haven't competed at the front, falling back behind Ferrari in the pecking order. 2025 will be the final year of these current regulations, with entirely new rules introduced 12 months later. In a bid to start 2026 strongly, some teams might opt to abandon focusing on the year before. Wolff has categorically ruled this out for Mercedes, with the Austrian eyeing title success in both seasons. This is the crux of the matter every year, and especially if you have such a big regulatory change, are you going to compromise one year or the other? Wolff told Autosport. But I'd like to take it from Nicky's motto when being asked, would you rather win this one or the next one? Sometimes it is much less complex than one thinks. Probably the transition of people and capability into the 2026 regulations is going to happen a bit earlier than it would under stable regulations. But it's not going to be game-changing. Nobody's going to switch the machines off in January unless you are really nowhere. But there is nothing to gain, because between 10 pesos and 7 pesos doesn't make a difference for us anyway. We are fighting for victories and podiums, and cannot write it off. Mercedes' inconsistencies aren't strange at the front of the field, though with Ferrari and Red Bull also facing similar troubles. Wolff conceded it was difficult to understand the lack of consistency in performance between teams besides McLaren. This variance in performance from race to race, or over a few races, is very difficult to compute because what looks like an unchanged car can go from race winning to P6, he added. The only team that is not a victim of that is McLaren, who I think have such a solid baseline and a less narrow window than all of us that they're able to keep the performance stable. All of the others bounce between exuberance and depression. Before the summer, everyone wrote off Ferrari, but they have come back very strong. Before the summer, it was Mercedes who was the leading team, and clearly not today anymore. So it is so intricate to identify those performance contributors that at times even that most clever people are lost. Lewis Hamilton hit the ground running in his debut Formula One season, and Toto Wolff says he will follow the Ron Dennis blueprint when it comes to helping the 7-time champion's replacement bed in at Mercedes. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, 18, is the young man chosen to fill the considerable void left by Hamilton's decision to start afresh with Ferrari. And the Italian teenager's meteoric rise to F1 means the pressure will be on from the start when he lines up alongside George Russell next year. Hamilton had a similarly significant reputation when he first appeared on the grid in 2007 with McLaren. Boss Dennis tried to relieve some of the pressure by saying, "You can't expect, and nor do we expect, immediate performance." That's exactly what the Brit ended up providing, finishing 3rd on debut, winning his 6th ever race, and standing on the podium after each of his first 9 F1 races. It will be very difficult for Antonelli to recreate that, but the boy from Bologna has been dubbed the next Max Verstappen. And when the teenager's career trajectory was compared to that of the Red Bull racer, Mercedes boss Wolff compared the situation instead to that of Hamilton as a youngster. The Austrian told Italian magazine Autosprint, "I think the project that inspired me more is the one that is more similar to Hamilton's career. Hamilton's growth in the junior categories and his impact in Formula One came at a time when you could test a lot more than Kimi has been able to do now. Ron at the time said Lewis needed to take it easy to get used to F1, also because Fernando Alonso was at McLaren. The second story is Lewis Hamilton recalls terrifying experience telling Toto Wolff about Ferrari F1 move. Lewis Hamilton has recounted how it was a terrifying experience when he told Mercedes Formula One boss Toto Wolff that he would be leaving to go to Ferrari in 2025. Ferrari announced prior to the action even commencing in 2024 the bombshell revelation that Hamilton has agreed a multi-year deal to move to the team next season. The seven-time champion seemed poised to conclude his illustrious F1 career with Mercedes when he signed a new contract extension through 2025 12 months ago. But successive winless seasons upon F1's return to ground-effect cars in 2022 and Ferrari's approach prompted Hamilton to activate a break clause in the agreement. Wolff admitted at the time that he was aware a switch could be in the works via rumors, but he wanted to wait until his planned meeting with Hamilton at his home. Hamilton broke the news over breakfast, which the Briton, who has been with the German Marque's work setup since 2013, has recalled as being a nervous moment. Hamilton has expressed that his memories of watching Michael Schumacher win 5 titles with Ferrari enticed him to accept the Maranello-based squad's advances. But it is so exciting because I remember as a kid watching Michael, he continued. Every driver watches that car and you're like, what would it be like to sit in the red cockpit? Hamilton has ensured that he will bow out at Mercedes with a win this season as he ended his extensive 945-day wait with an emotional home triumph at Silverstone. The ex-McLaren driver prevailed again at the Belgian Grand Prix to extend his record to 105 career victories in F1, with 84 coming since he moved to the Silver Arrows. Asked at Monza last month whether it was getting more emotional as the races counted down, Hamilton replied, "It's been there all year. Every single race you turn up. I love my team so much. We have been through a hell of a lot together, so it will be emotional every single race. Because every race we do is the last time at that particular place. Every race we get closer and closer to the last time I'll be in that Mercedes. It's going to be tough, but my focus is just to do my best job for the team and to finish on a high." It will be a tough task for Andrea Kimi Antonelli to succeed Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes next season. However, the German team is convinced that the young Italian is ready to make the next step in his career and enter Formula One. Gwen Legru, Mercedes driver development advisor, has had Antonelli under his wing since 2017 and has high hopes for him despite the enormous pressure on the youngster's shoulders. The third story is George Russell highlights key figure behind Mercedes F1 upturn. George Russell has highlighted James Allisson's return as technical director as a crucial moment, which contributed to Mercedes' turnaround this season in Formula One. Allisson was credited with having an integral part in work on several championship-winning cars that sustained Mercedes' previous dominance upon his arrival in 2017. However, Allisson elected to scale back his involvement in 2021 as he became Chief Technical Officer, while Mike Elliott was promoted to the role of Technical Director. But while it went on to record a record-breaking 8th successive Constructors title, Mercedes endured a sharp decline with the switch to ground-effect cars in 2022. The German Marque was unable to challenge Red Bull as it encountered repeated setbacks with the contentious zero-pod design, winning a sole race in 2 seasons. Allisson was reinstated to his previous position last term, and he has headed a technical group which has turned its 2024 car, the W15, into a multiple-time race winner. Russell, who prevailed in Austria and headed a 1-2 in Belgium until he was excluded, believes it's no coincidence that Allisson's presence has inspired an uptick in form. "I think James Allison's re-involvement with the project has been an immense benefit for us," Russell told media, including Motorsport Week. "We've always had this talent within the squad, but just having that clear leadership and clear direction to maximize the talent of the designers and the aerodynamicists has been vital. The experience he's got is huge as well, so I think that has been a big factor. The upturn in performance from us and McLaren has definitely been quite a pleasant surprise. and maybe a bit exaggerated with Red Bull's loss as well. I think we've moved forward and they've also come back, so it is a big swing. But in a normal season, a driver and team should not win every race, and this is the norm. We are talking about this disaster for Red Bull, but this is what happens in a normal season. Along with Russell's Red Bull Ring triumph, Lewis Hamilton ended his elusive drought at Silverstone and inherited the win when his teammate was disqualified in Spa. However, Mercedes has been unable to replicate those results since the campaign resumed last month, as it has struggled to match McLaren and a revitalized Ferrari. The Brackley-based squad chose to abandon the new floor that it introduced prior to the shutdown amid concern that was behind its sudden drop in competitiveness.